What's up? What it do, cyber world? It's your girl, the one, the only Ashby Breezy, taking it ever so easy. It's a Thursday afternoon. We're feeling good. We're feeling all right in the ATL. Yes, all day, every day. Want to take this moment just to recognize an Atlanta great, Atlanta legend, Chris Kelly, part of the 90s duo Crisscross, passed away yesterday at the age of 34. So just want to take some time to recognize him as a legend that he was and the impact that music had on a generation. Big shout out to Chris Kelly and all that great stuff there. So setting the record straight with that. And, of course, today we have a treat. We have celebrity in the building. We definitely have another living legend that's right here in the ATL as well. I'm talking about radio. I'm talking about TV. I'm talking about the Bodega Brothers. Y'all, welcome in the one, the only, HeadKrack.
Hola.
What's up, love? How are you?
Yo, man, just one day closer to Friday, man, and all is well, man. And to echo your sentiments, too, man, big rest in peace, shout out to, man, Chris Kelly from Crisscross. Like cats like that and, and his movement, like, really inspired a lot of people, way back in the day to, even to pursue hip-hop, man. So, I definitely see his contributions to the culture and the game, continue to live on.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nobody on the face of the planet in hip-hop or pretty much any realm of music that hadn't even heard the name Crisscross. Come on now. It just goes without saying.
And the crazy thing about, artists and, music for that, especially black music and hip-hop, we are so quick to throw, people away if they haven't had a song on the radio in a while. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when people disappear off the radar, it's not their doing. It's a lot of times it's the politics of the business that kind of take them out of it. And that's why you don't hear or see from a lot of people anymore, And some people just kind of just get burnt out on dealing with the politics of it, and they step off. That brother right there, and instead of continue to records, he went to school to learn more things about how the background of the industry, audio engineering and things like that. And then, and from what I understand, there was, in talks to try to, do something, whether it be, a little small tour or, work on another Crisscross project. But, at the end of the day, it's still tragic.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thoughts and prayers are with him. But HeadKrack, goody with you. All right, so I got people that download my blog through the iTunes and everything else that may perhaps be living under a rock somewhere and haven't really, tapped into pop culture at all. HeadKrack, where are you from? What city do you represent?
I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. That's where I was born, and that's where, the first part of my life began. Then I moved from New York to Dallas, Texas, and then from Dallas, Texas to Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm kind of a nomad, and I've had the privilege of being able to really understand how, people live in, three vastly different parts of the country. The only, region of the country I haven't lived is, in L.A. or, in the upper Midwest. But, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely got exposed to a lot of culture, a lot of different things musically and different ways of life for people. So, it's real cool. But at the end of the day, man, the Bronx, New York is home.
All right. Let it Bronx, definitely. So, the name, HeadKrack, where you come from?
There's a dice game called CeeLo, right? And whenever you roll 4, 5, 6 in CeeLo, they call that a HeadKrack. And everything I've ever done my entire life, I've always been lucky. It's I constantly hit HeadKrack after HeadKrack. Even from the standpoint of, my radio career, when I came to radio with me and my partner, Keno, from the Bodega Brothers, me, him, and this other guy named Super K, we was at a party one night, and, there was a station that was in Dallas called 97.9 Beat. They didn't have any DJs, but at the time, they was playing, underground hip-hop, stuff we liked. So we was like, yo, let's turn in a tape so we can, maybe do overnights over there. So we turned in this tape with the hopes of doing overnight, and they give us the nighttime show, 6 to 10 p.m. We've never done radio before and definitely never done radio together, and we ended up with a night show. And then we're like, maybe we'll if we're lucky, we can maybe be, a top 5 show. We ended up beating everybody they put in front of us. We were, the number one show at night in Dallas, off and off, a long time. And then, from that, to get taken from the show to get put on the morning show with Ricky Smiley and to go from being on one city to being on almost 70 cities across the country and to have that thing turned into a radio show, it's been HeadKrack after HeadKrack after HeadKrack, man. I'm just blessed.
Absolutely. Definitely a blessing. And I mean, me personally, I've pretty much been taken onto the show since Atlanta was brought into the market a few years ago. So I've been kind of, when I can, I listen to the morning show. Everybody collectively adds a different flavor to the show. Ebony Steele, Rock T, Juicy, Gary with the T, and of course Ricky. And it's a rarity to kind of get a team of people together like that gel so well.
And I think we're so lucky to be such a mixed bag that no matter what you're what you're into, I think there's somebody on the show that speaks to you in some way, size, shape, or form. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Ricky has a very southern, church background and also, a very established comedian, so he connects with a lot of people on on that note. And then you got Ebony, represents for the ladies. Then you got Gary, who, if you love gossip and stuff like that's your dude. Rock T's a sports guy. We have a midget on the show. We got Special K. You know what I'm saying? It's such a mixed bag. Like, I don't think you could unpurposely try to make another show that mirrors our show and get the same results, because you can't make chemistry. Chemistry has to happen. And I think we lucked up and got the right formula.
Absolutely. Now, I was fortunate enough to attend the Get Connected event that you and Ebony, I know they had a whole panel of radio personalities and people in the industry, but you and Ebony actually were speaking about, your start with Ricky and, how you guys got connected and everything, and just listening to that story from both of you, from two different aspects, from the industry, was inspirational, and it keeps people grounded to know where you guys are coming from, and not to know that it wasn't an overnight thing. It wasn't, you woke up and you was on radio station, you were on TV. That it was a struggle. It was a constant battle, for greatness.
I guess it depends on how you look at it. Because Ebony's story is Ev's story. Like, she started actually, I believe, in the sales department of the station that she used to work at in Birmingham. But with my thing, I literally lucked out. I literally was at a party with a drink in my hand and said, "Yo, let's go to the radio station tomorrow and get jobs." And we went to the radio station, and we went to the studio, recorded a demo tape, and we went and got jobs. But, the crazy thing is, that was my story, but it doesn't always necessarily pan out that easily for people. But, to get to the point to where, we got on the radio in a number 4 market like Dallas, to the point where we are now on TV and on a whole bunch of different cities, yeah, it definitely didn't happen overnight. And, there was a lot of growing pains in the process. But, we're finally here after all these years of putting in the work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I'm pretty much getting to is, we have a lot of influential people that are in the industry that make it seem like it's so easy and it's just an overnight sensation. But, for the people that are in the background of it, and we actually see y'all struggling, we see y'all, boosting from, city to city, making things happen. It's definitely it's a hard work, definitely a lot of work, and it's paying off.
Yeah, and a lot of the hard work really is mental, because there's a lot of things you deal with in this game, because everybody's motive is different. I came into radio not because I wanted to make a lot of money or because I wanted to hang out with celebs. I was actually passionate about music, and at the time I got into radio, it was at the tail end of that era where yo, I like this song, I'm gonna go to work and play it. You know what I'm saying? We literally had that type of freedom when I started doing radio, and that's what lured me in, because I was so passionate about music and discovering new music and putting new artists on from the city that I just felt that was my way to give back to the city of Dallas, and then between point A and point B, when people see that you're getting a little too much power from having that type of creative control, they want to try to neutralize and stabilize your power. So between point A and point B, we kind of lost the ability to do that. But at the end of the day, my passion for getting, still telling people about new music and new artists in a different way, kept me in it. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I may not necessarily be able to play all the artists that I'm particularly a fan of, I could at least tell you about it and spark that thought to where hey, I would, where you go look up a Fonte or go look up a J. Cole before he got popular, or a Blue in Exile, or Kendrick Lamar. I was telling people about Kendrick Lamar almost 2 years ago, and it's dope to see him finally now, be on the level that he's on, you know what I'm saying? And it all starts. So if I could start that fire in one way or another and also provoke thought and say intelligent things on the radio, every now and then mixed with a little bit of ignorance, my job here is done,
But they said that you have a guilty pleasure. You have a very guilty pleasure. Is there something that you wanted to talk about right now?
Well, I don't know exactly who fed you that information. I have many guilty pleasures, but I am definitely a big aficionado of food of all sizes, shapes, and forms. I like to seek out hidden things that are on menus that don't people don't necessarily quite know about, expose them to the world. I have this like taco joint that's like my favorite taco place in the world that I go to every time I go to Dallas. I'm actually catching a flight to go to Dallas in a little bit. But food's definitely my guilty pleasure, and discovering new food and putting people on to new snacks from all around the world. Definitely love that. Also, my other guilty pleasure, hip-hop. Love hip-hop music and discovering new hip-hop. And, video games. Just the regular stuff. Nothing weird. I don't like to put on a party hat and walk around pantless or nothing like that. I think most artists have a nice amount of crazy in them. And I think I've been going hard at this level for so long that the craziness of it all is actually normal to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning for almost 10 years now, so I'm just used to it. And the cool thing is, some people look at it as like, damn, you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But actually, that gives me 4 additional hours to get things done during the day, at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because, I get up, I go to work. I'm done with work usually by like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I got the rest of the day to, like, really grind hard and get it in. So I just kind of just allocate my time and just like and make it work. Like, to most people they would say it seem like it's crazy and hey, you're not getting enough rest, but for me, that craziness is my normal.
HeadKrack, all right. Transplanting from the Dallas area to the ATL, what was that like for you?
At first it was rugged because like I had just bought a house and I was like, damn, I just bought a house. So you don't want to just jump out of your crib and like leave. And then I was really I became really used to a lot of the things that I was doing in Dallas. I got a lot of family members that live there, a lot of friends. But I was definitely up to the challenge of coming to a city like Atlanta where it's like, Atlanta is just known for its music scene. Like, Dallas is such Dallas is such a sports-intensive city. To be able to come to Atlanta where, like, music is more of the drive than sports, it was attractive, once I got over the fact that, hey, I just bought a house. But but it was like going into uncharted territory. It was the equivalent of like you was the man in high school. Now let's see if you could be the man in college. Because it's easy to be the man in high school. Smaller school, people are used to you. But when you go to a college campus, it's much bigger than high school. Everybody already got their cliques and their associations. So to be able to come out to Atlanta and like penetrate some of the circles I've been able to penetrate, it's been dope, you know what I'm saying? And it could always be better, and there's always room for improvement. But it gives me something to work for as opposed to being on cruise control. And it also took me a long time to figure out what restaurants I liked here because I was used to the things I was used to in Dallas. And I was like, yo, man, how come y'all don't have a Razzoos out here? Or like, yo, where's the Grand Lux Cafe? You know what I'm saying? Because I was used to the things I was used to. But the more time I spent actually taking those exits off the highways and driving past the trees to see what was really popping out here, I found all the little gems. I started finding a lot of the little gems out here in Atlanta and getting like more immersed in the music scene locally out here. So it's been a challenge, but it's been a fun challenge because it definitely makes me work.
Absolutely. So let's talk about another transition that you've done. I'll say like in the last maybe year and a half, 2 years now, the Dish Nation TV show. What was that like for you? I mean, kind of were you out of like a fish out of water with it? Was it something that kind of just naturally flowed and went hand in hand with radio?
Like the way Dish Nation works, being that I'm such a pop culture dude, it was almost like God was like, yo, we're going to genetically engineer a show and throw it in your direction, and you're going to stumble across it, and it's going to work out because, like, a show like Dish Nation was right up my alley because, like, these are things that, like, I read about every day anyway. I'm already up on a lot of the people that we're already talking about, and it's the blessing of being able to do 2 jobs at the same time because we tape Dish Nation at the same time we're on the air. So it's like, you're getting paid for doing 2 jobs while you're actually, where you're actually doing one. And just with everything that I've been doing, like, like on radio as well as like, like stuff with music, it's just the only difference is now you're doing it with a camera in front of you. So it wasn't really that big of a change or a switch up for me. It was a welcome thing because a lot of times on radio is such a theater of the mind type of medium. Where, like, you have to imagine the things I'm saying or the things I'm doing or imagine the face that I'm making while I'm saying this. But on TV, you can, like, you can hit your punchline and give the camera that little smug look to really drive the joke home a little bit better. And so it works, and it's really fun. And it's like and it's definitely helping me meet a lot more fans and, like, open a lot more doors to people who like didn't know HeadKrack from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. There's a lot of people who are discovering the morning show now because of the TV show. You know, and I mean, and like, so that 1-2 punch is just awesome.
Right. Okay, so from the TV show, from the Dish Nation, have you received any negative feedback from some of your celebrity counterparts?
You know what? Oddly enough, no, because like I think my approach, I don't ever really outright attack people because that's just not my steez. You know, like I might make a slick comment, but it's not like I vindictively go after celebrities the way that some other gossip columnist or some other personalities might. Because at the end of the day, these are people with families. Like I'll report the stories, give my little smug opinion about it, and then keep it moving. But like there's never anything like malicious, I would say, in any story that I ever report or the way I report the story. You know what I'm saying? Because like at the end of the day, like. Yo, the cities are like not only is America small, the city we live in is small, and the industry is even smaller. You're gonna run into these people, and if you're chilling at a bar one night and you talk so much, yang about so many people, and you get hit over the head with a bottle one night, you got to figure out why. So I try to keep the people who who have me on a hit list really short, versus pissing off a whole bunch of people and just saying foul stuff just for the sake of being foul.
Definitely. Yeah, that's definitely a good look, HeadKrack. So let's talk a little bit about the Bodega Brothers.
All right.
What do the people need to know about them as far as, everybody's checking out, of course, crackblog.com. They're checking it out. They're checking out the new music, and you see all the stuff that you're doing with Dish Nation and, Rap of the Week and all that great stuff. But the Bodega Brothers, what is that? What is that group?
Pretty much the Bodega Brothers is a roaming, traveling party. I'm a solo artist first, and then out of that, we have Bodega, which consists of my man Kino, who I started doing the night show with in Dallas, back in 2000, the end of 2000. And then I got my man Travi, who actually started out as my hype man, who came from another group. So the first time I was getting ready to go to Europe to do a string of shows, Travi was coming because he's my hype man, and Kino, I wanted him to come because we had this song that we were all three of us were doing together that was killing him at the time. So I was like, yo, I want you guys to come to Europe, but it would be crazy for you to come to Europe just to do one song. Let's record a few more songs just so we can have a couple other records to do. And those couple other records turned into more records, and those more records turned into 12 records, and those 12 records turned into something even bigger than that. Because those guys are my best friends. So at the end of the day, I get to travel the world and make music and have fun and get money with my best friends. So it's barely even a group or a job as much as it is like a musical social club. It's real crazy. And the cool thing is a lot of people who we used to see in the scene, whether it be from a production standpoint or even sometimes on a music standpoint, we actually get to make music with those people, like my man Cheese and my man Kevin Clayton and my man the R and this other guy named Kevin Simon. A lot of we get to work with a lot of people who are not only dope producers, but they're our friends too. So it's just a real cool situation, man. And we go to these countries and we rock these venues, and even if it's a situation where people have never seen us or heard us perform before, we walk out of there with new fans and new followers, and it's dope because I don't like walking into a room where people are rooting for us, and not rooting for us from the standpoint we go to places and get booed or anything, but I like to make that first impression, and we're still in a point where we're going to a lot of these cities and having those first impressions. So to make those and get people that never knew about us to be believers in Bodega, that's the task, and we have fun doing that every time we rock.
Gotcha. All right, we got Zach Ruffin has a question for you. He wants to know when's the next Bodega Brothers tour.
All right, well. We're working on doing some dates in the States, we're talking about possibly the middle of July, some spot dates on the East Coast, some spot dates in the Midwest, and some spot dates on the West Coast. We're getting ready to relaunch bodegabrothers.com as well as crackblog.com, and all the tour dates are going to be on there, man. You can start checking around June 1st because everything's going to be super revamped, and all the information you'll possibly ever need will be there. But in the meanwhile, Be on the lookout for a new single the first week in June. Like, we just signed a new promotional deal with this company called Audible Treats, and they're handling like all of our our PR for this upcoming project. So, like, you'll definitely be able to hear about it.
You guys can go on there and follow HeadKrack right now on the Twitter at HeadKrack, and of course the Bodega Brothers. Yeah, go check them out. HeadKrack.
Oh yeah, definitely got to figure out how to spell that, because there's another guy on there named HeadKrack. He spells his name with a C, but mine is HeadKrack, and Bodega Brothers is BODEGA
HeadKrack, it's been a pleasure having you on, brother. Much success to you.
Yo, thank you so much for the opportunity, and big shout out to all the listeners of Ash BZ Radio.
Of course. Last but certainly not least, what advice can you offer to any of the up-and-coming artists that are coming up today? You know, nowadays everybody wants to be a rapper, everybody wants to be a singer. You've kind of seen both aspects of the industry as far as being in it yourself and also someone mentoring others. What advice would you offer to them today?
I can't really speak too much for singers, but when it comes to to rap and music, definitely tell your story. Nobody has your story. There's so many people who are making records just for the club or mimicking what they hear sound popular, and what you're getting is a lot of the same. But the only unique thing you could really go into the studio and do is tell your story. Let people know who you are. Like, slice off a piece of your personality and put it on the records. Like, I think one of the things I think really helped 50 Cent in the beginning of his career, not only was it the stories that he told, but the personality that he showed on his records. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, he would do a 3-minute song and then just be talking crazy at the end of the records, and, like, it really showed you who his what his personality was about. And I think that made him a polarizing character. Either you loved him or hate him. It's the same approach that, like, wrestlers take, even though wrestling is fake. Like, a really great wrestler, when they come into that ring, the fans either love them or hate them. And I think the best person that does that is John Cena. Like, you'll have a stadium full of 50,000 people, 20,000 might be yelling Cena sucks, but the other, 30,000 will be cheering for him. So show your personality, be polarizing, follow up and return calls, and always be willing to network. And keep it real. And keep it real with yourself. Like, I think long as you're true to your own voice, whether you recorded the song today or like 8 years ago, if you was true to your own voice the entire time, the songs will still always make sense.
Absolutely. All right, HeadKrack, you got to check out now crackblog.com. It's crack with a K, all right, crackblog.com.
Yeah, you definitely got to go with a K, because if you spell it with a C, it's like that other site is actually a porn site.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
I don't want to get anybody fired from their jobs, It's important. We're still in a recession.